Hey everybody, this is Cynic25 here, bringing you another updated deck profile. This time I'm updating my Constellar deck profile. This is one of my main decks. It's probably one of my favorite decks. I find it really balanced, and I just wanted to do it some justice and give a quick update on kind of where I've been going with the deck, the direction it's been taking. I guess as a whole, the theme I've been trying to go ahead with this deck is really focused on continuous spells and traps, to be able to continuously send them back to my hand and reuse later, just to abuse the PLAY-uh-dees as much as possible. I've been trying to look for cards that are very consistent with the theme of the deck, which is spam PLAY-uh-dees as hard as possible. And I think I kind of found that, and this is kind of the deck list I came up with. Again, most of this is pretty traditional in Constellars. The main difference here is really the two swords I've added, which are actually really great. A lot of Constellar players don't run Swords of Revealing Light, but I think it's actually a really good tech because it's a powerful card on its own. If your opponent doesn't have a way to get around it, they're literally sitting there for 3 turns. And if you have PLAY-uh-dees on the field, like right before this thing gets destroyed, you can send it back to your hand and simply reuse again. So it's just really good, especially if your opponent does not have an easy out to it. You can prevent your opponent from attacking for quite some time. As for the other things I've changed around in this build, obviously I'm running 3 Tenki. I added Trap Stun, just again for more back row protection. This deck really likes having its plays go off. If your plays don't go off, you're pretty much screwed. Because the Constellars on their own aren't really very powerful, and they don't have any real unique effects other than the fact that they bring each other out or search for each other. So you really want to be protecting yourself against back rows. So running 2 Mystical, 2 Forbidden Lance, and 2 Trap Stun really helps round out your back row protection. Again, running 2 Call here, per usual. I was actually, for the longest time, running 2 Call and 2 Fiendish Chain, and it worked kind of well, because I was able to bring these back to my hand very often, reuse constantly, but it ended up being a little bit cloggy, so I ended up just opting out for 2 of each, and I think it's pretty solid at that. Beyond that, the extra deck is pretty much the same. I added a Tiger King for those random instances where I have Baron Calls on the field and need to make something. And I also have Hades in here for the off chance I have 2 Sheridans on the field. Now, again, one other thing to keep in mind is this is the deck I run in real life, and I don't actually own 101 Arc Knight or Exciton Knight, so this extra deck is not complete. If I had 101 Arc Knight and Exciton Knight, they would certainly be in this extra deck, but since I don't have it, then, well, that's just the case. So, yeah, this is the Constellar deck profile we're messing around with. It's pretty consistent, it's pretty balanced, and it's really good at turning bad hands into good hands, and that's really, in my opinion, how you want to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Because if you play Yu-Gi-Oh! To just make your good hands even better, well, your bad hands are going to suffer equally as much, and it ends up being pretty inconsistent. And in Yu-Gi-Oh! Consistency really is the name of the game and the foundation of really any good deck. So I really aim for consistency here, and synergy with PLAY-uh-dees' main effect. So going into the side deck here, there are some interesting things I want to point out. The main thing here is this Zombie World and this Crimson Knight Vampire Bram. So if you're playing Constellars and you're looking for things to side, Zombie World is a really good option for you because it shuts down a lot of the meta and doesn't hurt you really at all. Now, what's really cool is if you side in Zombie World, I actually end up siding in Crimson Knight Vampire Bram, because since Zombie World turns all your Constellars into zombies, you can simply upgrade to level 5 with Cause, and then you can overlay for this thing in place of PLAY-uh-dees if you so desire. And it actually has a really cool effect. And it's a really nice alternative to PLAY-uh-dees if you're siding in Zombie World. Now, what this monster does is if you detach one XYZ material, you can target one monster in your opponent's graveyard and special summon it onto your side of the field, but that monster can't attack for the rest of the turn. So you pretty much steal one of your opponent's monsters from the grave and you take it pretty much forever. And what's also cool is that when this card dies and is sent to the graveyard, you can reborn it to your side of the field during your next standby phase. And again, that's either by card effect or by battle. So it just keeps coming back. It gives you a consistent defense if needed, and you just steal one of your opponent's monsters. So this is actually a really cool alternative to PLAY-uh-dees if you're siding in Zombie World. Now again, obviously most of the time you'll be going for PLAY-uh-dees, but if there's a circumstance or a situation where your opponent has a really powerful monster in their graveyard and you really want to utilize it, this is a really nice option for you. So I guess that's the main update I really wanted to give you guys with my Constellar deck. I mean, it's come a long way since the original build I put up, which was really bad, by the way. Do not watch that build. Do not watch that build. Now you're going to go watch it. Just don't watch it. But yeah, this is a pretty solid build. And again, if you like it, feel free to give me some comments. I'm constantly updating this deck. It's one of my favorite decks. But definitely try it out. Give it a try. And as always, feel free to like, subscribe, and take care.